Hello YouTubers, and welcome to another video from the Golf Nerd. I see a lot of golfers saying that their sim golf putting experience on GSPro seems off. So I investigated the situation and I have a solution for you. Before I share my findings, please consider subscribing so you're always aware of when I upload new content. Plus, subscribing really helps the channel out. Now let's talk about how to dial in your putting on GSPro. The first thing we're going to need is a homemade Stimpmeter. You'll need 2 quart paint cans, a tape measure, a permanent marker, and a 3-foot U-fence fence post. If you don't happen to have any of these fence posts, you can pick them up at a big box store for around $5 for a 3-footer. In the video, I am using a 5-footer, but anything 3-foot or above will work. For all testing within GSPro, I am using my Mevo Plus. There are several steps to creating a homemade Stimpmeter. First, measure from the end of the fence post, draw a line at 30 inches. Now stack the 2 paint cans at the end of your putting surface. If you don't have paint cans, stack anything to a height of 10 1/4 inches or 26 centimeters for my metric friends. Place one end of the fence post on the putting surface and place the other end of the fence post on the stacked paint cans. Make sure the line you marked on the fence post is even with the edge of the paint cans closest to your putting surface. This will set the appropriate angle for a Stimpmeter, which is around 20 degrees. Now place a tee at the end of the fence post where it meets the putting surface. You now have your Stimpmeter. Place a ball on the line you drew earlier and roll 3 balls one at a time. Take the average distance of the golf ball's final position and measure a straight line to the tee at the base of the fence post. You should use the average stopping location of all 3 golf balls. This is your putting surface stimp. Stimp is only measured in hole numbers, so round any fraction to the nearest hole number. My birdie ball mat stimped at 14, and that explains a lot. Now, go into practice mode on GSPro and choose the green of your choice. Find a flat lie and measure out the exact same distance on your putting surface as on GSPro. Mark your putting surface with tees at either end of that distance and check how closely it lines up with the readings in GSPro. In my case, a 10-foot putt needed about 10 foot 6 inches of distance to make the putt with a stimp of 13. Remember, my birdie ball mat measured at a 14 stimp, so this is pretty darn close. A 9-footer needed about 9.5 feet as well. To validate the results, I used an old putting mat that has been destined for catching balls in my hitting net. When I set this putting mat up and tested stimp, it tested right at 8. So I set GSPro to 7 feet, tested a 7-footer, and GSPro seemed to say a putt that went barely 7 feet in reality went about 7.5 feet in the game. I then changed the putt to an 8-foot putt and found that a putt that went just over 7 feet in reality did not make it to the hole. So all in all, it was pretty accurate at a stimp of 8 as well. So set aside 30 minutes, get your hands on these supplies, measure your stimp, and verify the results on GSPro. I think you just might make your sim experience a lot more realistic. If you found this information helpful, please hit that like button. Also, it sure validates that I'm producing the right content when you subscribe. So please consider it before you fix your GSPro putting setup. That's it from the Golf Nerd. Hit 'em long and straight, and I'll see you next time.